Hello, welcome back to my teeny tiny kitchen in Surrey. Today we are going to do a bit of baking. All my friends, or anyone who knows me, knows that I am like baking crazy. I have a slight compulsion when it comes to baking. So any excuse to make a cake, to make cupcakes, muffins, whatever, I literally will take the chance and bake. So today we are going to be making some very simple vanilla cupcakes with a buttercream icing, and it's going to be a pink buttercream icing. These are actually for a friend of mine's birthday, so she has requested the pink icing. So we're going to do that today. So what I've done already is I've preheated my oven to I think it's 180 degrees, which is gas mark 4, I believe. I have an electric oven, but if you have gas, it's gas mark 4, so it's quite low, so you don't want to burn your cupcakes. So you don't need beautiful gadgetry such as this, but I have a KitchenAid. I'm very lucky to have a KitchenAid, and I will use it at every opportunity I can. So I'm going to be using my KitchenAid today. You can do this in a bowl using an electric hand whisk, and they will come out just as beautifully. I just find this very comforting. So what we're going to do is I am going to, forget to say, line your cupcake tins with cupcake papers. It's 12 of those. This makes 12, obviously. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in self-raising flour. It's 150 grams. Oh, I lied, it's 175 grams. Apologies. Then we've got 150 grams of caster sugar. I'm using golden caster sugar here, just because that's what I have in the house. And I actually like the slight almost carameliness it gives to baking. So we're just going to pop that in there. Then we have got 150 grams of butter. It's got to be soft, otherwise it's not going to mix through properly. So you pop that in there. Extra bit. We've got 3 eggs, so I'm going to just pop those in. And then the last thing we're going to add to make them vanilla is a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Please use extract, don't use essence. Essence is pretend. It's horrible, it's chemicals. We don't want to be putting chemicals in our bodies. So we want beautiful, let's do a close up, vanilla extract. This is one of the best ones you can buy. I'm sure Nelson Massey will like the little plug there. So I'm just going to pop a teaspoon of vanilla extract into the bowl. Get the lid back on. Yes, we can. Right, now we're going to just pop this on, and here comes the noise. So I'm just going to whisk that up until everything's combined and beautifully light and fluffy. Okay, so my mixture is just about combined. It's pale, it's fluffy, it's creamy. If your butter isn't warm enough, which actually mine wasn't, you might find you'll get kind of bits, of sort of lumpy bits of butter in the mixture. So the way to prevent that, obviously, is to have nice softened butter. If, like mine, it's not, just keep mixing, and those little bits will eventually disperse. I'm just going to throw this up just a little bit, just to do the last little bit, get it all combined. So excuse the noise once again. That's perfect. Get the excess off there. Later. Cooks perk. Okay, so this is what you're looking for. I don't know if you can see that. So it's beautifully light, creamy, everything's mixed together. You can probably see that I've got the little there's a few little lumps in there, but that's absolutely fine. They'll all cook through. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put this mixture into the tin that we've already prepared. Hopefully you can see this. That's the problem with my teeny tiny kitchen, is that there isn't really much room for filming, so I'm going to try and get as close to camera as I possibly can. Can you see me here? You can see me here. So what you want to do, 2 teaspoons. This is like the best way of doing it. You can use dessert spoons if you want. I use teaspoons. Take a teaspoon of your mixture, and then you use the other teaspoon just to push that off into the case. Now, my tin actually here is a muffin tin, and I'm using muffin cases, and that's purely because that's all I have. So because I'm using slightly bigger cases and a deeper tin, I don't want to overfill this at all. So if you've got a cupcake tin and you're using cupcake cases, you probably will want to fill them not all the way to the top, because they do rise, but you can fill them up slightly more than I will be here. So let's just get all this mixture in. Okay, so those are all filled, so I'll just show you. There we go. I always, without fail, manage to get bits all over the tin. Not good. Hopefully you'll be slightly neater than me. What we're going to do now is we're going to put these in the oven. So we preheated the oven, as I said earlier, 180 degrees, which is gas mark 4. And we're going to pop those in the oven for about 20 minutes, depending on your oven. My oven is a bit temperamental, so these might actually end up taking sort of 25 minutes, half an hour. Just cook them in for 20 minutes and then check them. They should be sort of a nice golden brown, and they should sort of, if you press your finger on them without burning yourself, obviously, they should just spring back. Or you can insert a cake tester, that should come out clean. If you don't have a cake tester, you can use a knife, or one tip I really like is actually a bit of spaghetti. You just pop that in, and if that comes out clean, they're done. So these are going in the oven now for 20 minutes, and I will be back when they're cooked. Welcome back. Cakes are now cooked and cooled, and we're now going to make some super simple buttercream icing to go on the top. Buttercream icing is basically just butter, icing sugar, and a little bit of water. And in this instance, I'm going to put some vanilla in there because they're vanilla cupcakes, and we're going to colour it with some food colouring because we're going to do some nice big icing on top of our cakes. I'm going to preempt this and tell you that my piping skills are horrendous, absolutely horrendous, but I'm going to give it a go, and you can all laugh at me when it's over. So what we're going to do first is we're going to get our butter and sugar all mixing. I'm going to use my beautiful KitchenAid once again, and we're going to get that mixed together and start making our buttercream icing. Okay, let's find this bowl really hard to get on for some reason. Okay, so we've got 250 grams of icing sugar, which I have sifted. It's annoying, I know, but the problem with icing sugar is that once it's stood around for a little while, it starts to clump together, especially if it gets damp, which at this time of the year is quite likely to happen. So do sift it, because that way you'll get a beautiful, soft, smooth icing on top of your cakes, which you want. We've also got 150 grams of butter. Again, like with the cakes, the butter needs to be soft, otherwise it just will not mix in. So we're just going to pop this in here now. I've got the whisk attachment on my KitchenAid here. You can use the whisk attachment, you can use your paddle attachment, or you can just do this either with a handheld electric whisk, or you can use good old elbow grease and use a wooden spoon as well. As I said earlier, love to use my KitchenAid because it's just so beautiful. Right, so we're going to get that going. I'm going to start it off very, very slowly, and we probably will have clouds of ice and sugar everywhere, but we'll start off slow and then we'll speed it up as things start combining. As the sugar and butter start mixing together, they'll kind of start making, I don't know, almost like a sandy texture. You do want this is desirable because once this starts happening, the sandy texture, I think it's something to do with the probably the solids in the butter starting to get unsolid. Is that even a word? I don't know. Anyway, they start binding with the sugar, and then it becomes this sort of beautiful, soft mixture. So don't be scared if you get sand. Just keep going, keep with it, and it will happen eventually. Okay, so my mixture has now gone from sort of sandiness to a nice creamy, smooth texture. So I'm going to add in some vanilla extracts, obviously because it's vanilla icing, and I'm just going to do, find the right spoon in my Jada spoons. There we go, a teaspoon of vanilla. And that goes. And I'm also going to add in just a little bit of hot water. Just going to do a teaspoon for now. If you were just doing this plain, you probably would want to add 2, but because I'm adding in some food colouring, which is liquid, 1 is probably sufficient. The more you do this, the more you'll kind of get to know how it should look, how it should feel. So it's just practice. Sometimes I actually just do it by eye, I don't use measurements. I just kind of chuck the butter and the sugar in and see what happens, and actually do it by eye and by taste. So feel free to do that also, but use this recipe if it's your first time making buttercream. I actually wish you could smell this. That vanilla is just amazing. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in a little bit of food colouring. Just a little. The problem with food colouring is you can't take out once you've added. So do it little by little to get the colour that you want. So I'm trying to go for a nice pink. So I don't have pink food colouring, unfortunately. You can get pink food colouring. I only had red and blue and yellow. Who needs those colours? Anyway, I'm using red. So I'm just going to put a few drops in there and let it mix together. You may find if you're using one of these or you're using a handheld electric mixer that you'll have to scrape the sides down at some point. It does tend to kind of go up the sides of the bowl quite a lot, so give it a scrape down and make sure everything's completely incorporated. I'm actually going to do that now. This looks like it needs scraping. So let's just take this off. So this is kind of the texture that you're looking for. I don't know if you can see that, a bit bright. So I'm just going to grab a spatch and I'm just going to scrape down the sides of the bowl. So there is some butter here that hasn't quite incorporated with the sugar. On and mix them all. Okay, so we have got our lovely pink icing. On the camera it doesn't look very pink, does it? Weird. Anyway, we've got our pink icing. So what we're going to do now is we are going to try, fingers crossed, to pipe this onto our cupcakes. So I have got ready prepared. Here's one I made earlier, Peter styly. Just any old jug, and I've put my piping bag inside, which makes it much easier to fill. So using my spatula, handy spatch, I'm just gonna get the icing into the piping bag. Okay, so that's in. Take that down a bit. Okay. Yes, there will be air inside, don't worry about that. Just push it down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to snip the end of my piping bag. I'll find some scissors. Here we go. Okay. There we go. Just going to make sure that squeezes out. Yep. Okay, so the beautiful Rachel Koo has a great tip for holding your piping bag, and it's the loser method. Thank you, Rachel, for reminding us that even when we're grown up, we are still losers. So you use these fingers and you put your twisted bit of piping bag in between those fingers. So like this. And you can wrap your tail around your thumb. So you're basically holding it and you're squeezing with the top, and this hand is just a guide. So I'm going to take one of our cooked and cooled cupcakes. Now, I don't know how well this is going to come out on camera, and I also don't know how well this is going to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the far end, so right by the paper case. I'm going to squeeze, basically until it reaches the middle. And then I'm going to turn the cake, and I'm going to do that again, and I'm going to do that all the way around the cake. You don't have to move the icing bag at all. You're literally just going to squeeze until the icing reaches the middle. Try and do it on a flat surface, not on your electric hob, which has got a dip in it. So squeeze. Keep going. Okay, there we go. It's almost like a little flower. And you can do a little bubbly bit on the top if you so desire. There we go. Lovely flower. I'll try and get up in there. You see that? Oh, there we go. That's better. Ta-da! So I'm going to continue. I'm going to ice all of those. And that's basically vanilla cupcakes with buttercream icing. I hope you enjoyed. Please like the video, subscribe, and I will be back soon, possibly with some more baking. We shall see. Take care.